Dear friends, fellows and colleagues, welcome to HSC tutorial. Today we are going to discuss about lifting safety, and this will be the video number 1 of lifting series. But first of all, we should understand what is lifting. In general, lifting means to move or bring something upward from the ground to a higher place or position. Lifting operation in construction occur during shifting and transportation of material from the storage place to the place where it is being processed or consumed. Construction lifts encompass boom lifts, scissor lifts, forklifts, and the aerial lifts, etc. I'm your host, Javed, and you are watching Safety First. If you are new on this channel, kindly subscribe the channel. And if you find the video informative, then like, comment, and share. Let us discuss the objectives of this training presentation. To provide an introduction to crane and sling safety. Establish crane and sling safety in your organization. Introduce basic safety concepts and techniques. Provide skills for operators, maintenance workers, riggers, slingers, and the supervisors, etc. And lastly, raise safety to an appropriate level of awareness. It will be beneficial for proper crane operations results in accident reduction, elimination of workplace injuries and illnesses where possible, reduction of workplace injuries and illnesses where possible, compliance with safety standards which requires training to be conducted, cranes be inspected and safely operated, a safety program to be established, hazards and precautions be explained, and job hazards to be assessed and controlled. These are the basis of this training presentation. All employers must maintain crane safeguards, review job specific hazards, implement corrective action, conduct hazard assessments, conduct accident investigations, provide training to all required employees, and control workplace hazards by using personal protective equipment as a last resort. Dear friends and fellows, program elements includes site safety rules, periodic training, inspection program, maintenance program, operating safety rules, operator pre-qualification, and control of hazardous energy sources. Prior to jump directly on lifting, let us understand the legal requirements of the legislation. Those are related to lifting and rigging. The provision and use of the work equipment regulations 1998, known as Hoover. The lifting operations and lifting equipment regulations 1998 is known as LOLR. Basically, these are the two regulations. Those are related to lifting and rigging. POO makes general requirements that apply to all equipment. POO requires equipment to be maintained in a safe condition and for it to be regularly inspected to ensure it remains in a safe condition. Best practices may include: number 1, keep work equipment maintained in a safe condition and in good working order. Number 2, keep a record of maintenance for work equipment. Number 3, have regular inspections of the equipment to ensure it stays in a safe condition. Number 4, make sure the equipment conforms to all local and international legislations. While lower lifting operation and lifting equipment regulations takes a different approach, referring only to a lifting operation, and any equipment used in that operation is considered to be lifting equipment. Regulation 2 of LOLOR defines lifting equipment as any work equipment for lifting or lowering loads and includes its attachments used for anchoring, fixing, or supporting it, and an accessory for lifting as work equipment for attaching loads to machinery for lifting. Regulation 3 covered the duties self-employed persons who use lifting equipment, persons who have control of lifting equipment, persons who use or supervise or manage the use of lifting equipment. Regulation 4 refers to the selection and suitability of lifting equipment for the purpose and conditions under which it is to be used. Regulation 5 makes the requirements for equipment used for lifting persons. It requires greater safety coefficients, factors of safety than for other purposes. Regulation number 6 requires lifting equipment to be positioned and installed in such a way as to reduce as low as possible the risks of the equipment or load from striking persons or the load. Regulation number 7 refers to the marking of equipment. It requires lifting machines and accessories to be clearly marked with the SWL. There is a further requirement that equipment designed for lifting persons is clearly marked to that effect. Regulation number 8, it deals with the planning, supervision, and control of lifting operations. Regulation number 9 deals with the examination and inspection of lifting equipment. Regulation number 10 deals with the records of lifting equipment. And regulation number 11 refers to the keeping of records and documentation. Dear friends, this was a short introduction of LOLOR, Lifting Operation and Lifting Equipment Regulation 1998. Regulation 1 to 11 were discussed for your knowledge and update. Let us discuss the employer responsibility, because lifting is one of the critical and hazardous activity. It is the responsibility of the employer to provide safe plant and equipment, to provide safe means of access and egress, to provide safe working environment, to provide adequate welfare facilities, to provide written statement of health and safety policy and risk assessment if employees are 5 or more in number, to provide information, instruction, training, and supervision to all the workforce, and especially to the employees, those are involved in a lifting operation, to ensure safety of workers dealing with hazardous substances during lifting, lowering, storage, transportation, usage, and disposal, etc. Do you know the responsibility of safety department? Safety staff should hold regular accident review meetings, document meetings, encourage employee involvement, bring employee complaints, suggestions, or concerns to the attention of management, provide feedback without fear of reprisal, analyze statistical data concerning accidents, and make recommendations for corrective action. And never forget that follow-up is critical. What is the role of senior management in maintaining lifting safety? Number 1, support the lifting safety program. Number 2, ensure your support is visible. Number 3, get involved. Number 4, attend the same training as your workers. Number 5, insist on periodic follow-up and program review. And number 6, implement ways to measure effectiveness. Supervisors are equally responsible in maintaining occupational safety and health at construction site. They have to treat all near misses as an accident. Never ridicule any injury or near miss. Get involved in crane and lifting safety. Get your workers involved. Be professional. You could save a life today and follow up on the actions you took. Dear friends and fellows, employees are the backbone of the company. Let us discuss the role of employees. Employees should take care of their own health and safety, to take care of health and safety of others, to cooperate with their employer, not to interfere with or misuse anything provided for health and safety, to use the equipment in accordance with the instructions and training, to report dangerous situations, to report shortcomings in health and safety arrangements, to report all accidents and near misses immediately, to contribute to make corrective actions. Always provide complete and accurate information. Report all crane and lifting safety problems or deficiencies to their supervisors and managers, and to follow up with any additional information they needed or that is relevant with the site requirement. After discussing the roles and responsibilities of management, employer, supervisory staff, and the employees, let us understand the terms and short definitions. Those are related to lifting and crane safety. First of all, what is crane? Crane consists of a rotating structure for lifting and lowering horizontally on rubber tires or crawler treads, etc. What is hoist? Hoist is used to lift and lower the load. What is boom? An inclined spar, strut, or other long member supporting the hoisting tackle. What is boom stops? A device used to limit the angle of the boom at its highest position. What is brake? To slow or stop motion by friction or power. What is meaning by block in lifting safety? Block sheaves are grooved pulleys in a frame with hook, eye and strap. What is jib? Extension attached to the boom point to provide added boom length for lifting specified loads. What is boom angle indicator? An accessory device that measures the angle of boom base section, center line to horizontal. What is load? The weight of the object being lifted, including load block and hook, wire rope, rigging material, boom attachments, and ancillary attachment. What are outriggers? Support members attached to the crane's carrier frame, which are used to level the crane. What is radius? The horizontal distance from the axis of rotation of the crane's superstructure to the center of the suspended load. What is superstructure? The rotating frame, gantry, and boom or other operating equipment. What is counterweight? Weights used for balancing loads and the weight of the crane in providing stability. What is the meaning of deck? The revolving superstructure or turnable bed. What do you understand by drum? The spool or cylindrical member around which cables are wound for raising and lowering loads. That is called drum. Do you know what is meaning of lifting operation? Lifting operation refers to the operation of lifting or lowering a load using lifting equipment. Do you understand what is lifting equipment? Lifting equipment refers to any device used for lifting or lowering a load and typically includes mobile cranes, tower cranes, gantry cranes, hoists, and mobile work elevated platforms. These all are the examples of lifting equipment. What do you understand by lifting accessory? Lifting accessory refers to any accessory connecting to the lifting equipment used in connection with lifting or lowering a load. It includes chains, slings, shackles, wire ropes, and any accessory that may be used to carry a load, such as a concrete skip or man riding or lifting basket. Dear friends and fellows, you are watching Safety First, and today's topic is lifting safety. Don't forget, this is part one of lifting safety. We are trying to understand the short terms and definitions, those are related to lifting operation. What do you mean by common lift? Common lift refers to any routine or regular lifting operation that is carried out where the lifting equipment, lifting accessory, and the load are the same in each case. An example of the common lift is the unloading of steel reinforcement from a delivery lorry at the same radius using the same crane and lifting accessories. What do you understand by special lift? Special lift refers to any lifting operation which is carried out infrequently or as a one-off on the site, and there is change in either the lifting equipment used or the lifting accessories. An example of the special lift is the lifting of air conditioning plant onto the roof of a building, which will only be carried out once and will require a detailed lifting assessment or lifting plan. What do you understand by lifting appointed person? Appointed person refers to a trained and competent person appointed by the employer using lifting equipment to undertake specific roles and responsibilities with regards to the use of lifting equipment and lifting accessories. What is the role of crane coordinator? The crane coordinator should plan and direct the sequence of operations of cranes to ensure that they don't collide with other cranes, loads, and other equipment. For example, concrete placing booms, piling rigs, etc. What is the duty of crane supervisor? Who might be the crane supervisor? A person who controls the lifting operation and ensures that it is carried out in accordance with the appointed person's safe system of work. Dear friends and fellows, the most important person who is controlling the crane is crane operator. The person who is operating the crane for the purpose of positioning loads or erection of the crane, while the crane erector should be responsible for working on erection of the crane in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Where two or more crane erectors are required, one should be nominated by the appointed person or employing organization as erector in charge to control the operation. What do you understand by the word rated capacity? Load that the crane is designed to lift for a given operating condition. For example, configuration and positioning of the load. Remember, the rated capacity was formerly known as safe working load, or in short, SWL. Rated capacity indicator, limiter, or RCI, RCL. A device or devices that warns of the approach to overload and prevents the crane from being overloaded. This was previously known as an automatic safe load indicator. What do you understand by the factor of safety? The ratio of the load that would cause failure of an item of lifting equipment to the load that is imposed upon it in service. For example, SWL, safe working load. This is to allow for detrimental criteria such as wear and tear, dynamic loadings, etc. What is the meaning of headroom? the maximum vertical distance between the item to be lifted and the point of suspension of hoisting machine, that is, between the lifting eyes and the underside of runway beams. What do you understand by height of lift? The amount of possible travel between the top and the bottom connection points, for example, hooks of a hoisting machine. Dear friends and fellows, there are two terms most of the time you will see on the lifting accessories, WLL and SWL. WLL stands for working load limit and SWL stands for safe working load. What is WLL? Working load limit is the maximum load or mass that an item of lifting equipment is designed to sustain. For example, to raise, lower, or suspend. The WLL working load limit as determined by the manufacturer must never be exceeded, while the SWL is the maximum load as certified by a competent person which an item of lifting equipment may raise, lower, or suspend under particular service conditions. For example, the SWL can be lower than the WLL. The SWL, as determined by the competent person, must never be exceeded. If you are interested to know further, please click on the link that is appearing on your screen. Let us discuss what is the responsibility of a rigger or slinger, a person responsible for attaching and detaching the load to or from the crane lifting attachment and for the use of the correct lifting gears and equipment in accordance with the operating plan for proper positioning of loads. Who might be a banksman? What is the role of a banksman or a signaller? A person responsible for directing crane movements. Dear friends and fellows, color coding is also important in lifting safety, especially for lifting gears. Method of marking lifting gears. For example, the use of painting, cable ties, or special cloths to give a visual indication of its certification status and validity. This color should be changed once every 3 months. What is tagline and why it is used? A rope of suitable strength, construction, and length attached with an appropriate recognized bend or hitch to the load, used to control the load during lifting or positioning. Have a look in the photograph. Two persons, they are using tag lines in opposite directions to control the movement of the load. Tag line length to be calculated as per the height requirement. The formula is length is equal to 1.5 multiplied by the height of the lift. Avoid excess tag lines falling behind the rigger. Remember, always attach a tag line to the sling, not to the load. Dear friends and fellows, several people they are engaged in lifting operation. For example, crane operator, signalman, banksman, rigger, slinger, crane supervisor, crane coordinator, lifting appointed person, and the other persons, those are working in the close proximity where the lifting operation is being carried out. It means the importance of personal protective equipment is mandatory. Employers have basic duties concerning the provision and use of personal protective equipment at work, and this document explains what you need to do to meet the requirements of the Personal Protective Equipment at Work Regulation 1992. PPE is defined in the regulations as all equipment, including clothing, affording protection against the weather, which is intended to be worn or held by a person at work and which protects him against one or more risks to his health or safety. For example, safety helmets, gloves, eye protection, high visibility clothing, safety footwear, and safety harnesses, etc. Ensure any personal protective equipment you buy is CE marked and complies with the requirements of the Personal Protective Equipment Regulations 2002. The CE marking signifies that the personal protective equipment satisfies certain basic safety requirements and in some cases will have been tested and certified by an independent body. Do you know what is the regulation requirement that is related to personal protective equipment? The main requirement of the PPE at Work Regulations 1992 is that personal protective equipment is to be supplied and used at work wherever there are risks to health and safety that cannot be adequately controlled in other ways. The regulations also require that PPE is properly assessed before use to ensure it is suitable, is maintained and stored properly, is provided with instructions on how to use it safely, and is used correctly by the employees. Dear friends and fellows, key points to remember related to personal protective equipment are their ways other than the PPE in which the risk can be adequately controlled. For example, engineering controls. If not, check that personal protective equipment is provided. It offers adequate protection for its intended use. Those using it are adequately trained in its safe use. It is properly maintained and any defects are reported, or it is returned to its proper storage after use. Dear friends and fellows, you are watching Safety First. We already discussed several elements of the presentation, but plain procedure or discussion doesn't matter. Implementation matters. And implementation of a crane or lifting safety program requires dedication, personal interest, and management commitment. Remember, understanding and support from the workforce is essential. Without it, the safe lifting program will definitely fail. Do you know what will be the outcome of proper implementation of safe lifting program? It will improve quality of the work, improve absenteeism, reduce injury and illness rates. It will maintain a healthier workforce, acceptance of high turnover jobs. Workers feel good about their work. It will reduce workers' compensation costs and elevate safety to a higher level of awareness. And that's it. Training session related to lifting safety, part 1 is over now. This was just about the short terms and definitions. This was related to the roles and responsibilities of employees, supervisors, management, and the employer. Still, the procedural and operational parts of lifting safety presentation are remaining. For the time being, if you have any question related to this presentation, please ask in the comment section down below. Thanks for your time and watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share the video. Hope to see you soon with a new HSC tutorial. Till then, take care, good luck, and Allah Hafiz.